All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is General Greene. Please like and share this video. Let me know that you've got good clarity of audio. I'm using a different clip. Today, Americans prepare for economic collapse and bank runs in the United States in the midst of the worst stock market crash than we've seen since 2020. And the lockdowns, the S&P 500 tumbling Friday today to post its worst week since 2023, arguably in 2020, with the NASDAQ dropping 2%. And we're seeing a massive Wall Street sell-off for a couple of reasons. The elites have already sold all their bags. And I've been reporting on this for several months now, telling you to sell your stocks, to run from U.S. equity markets, that people like Warren Buffett, who are insiders, have been selling all of their positions in advance of retail investors and the American people to screw you, because they're prepping for the biggest financial catastrophe since 1929. And they're going to be buying all these assets on the cheap, of course, which I would encourage you to do as well. Hopefully you have dry powder after what appears to be looking like almost like a Dust Bowl period, Cold War redo. Again, we haven't seen anything like this, folks, since 1929, and I hope you listen to my father's, Papa John's, powerful message earlier today, because when my dad speaks and he says something, he means it, folks. My dad is a very common sense man. He had a powerful message. I hope you watch the video. It's titled Emergency Broadcast from Papa John, on board now. And he's going over the specifics of the soundness of our world-class investment here at islandproject.com and the multi-billion-dollar opportunity, as he says in his own words. It is so vital that you get your money out of the banks now before what we're going to talk about in today's video, which I believe is already transpiring. Now, there are some highlights in the stock market. One I wanted to point out, because I don't like stocks at all, but there's two that I've actually recommended for some time. So if you're going to own anything and you just got a long-term time horizon, you don't care about 1929 and the stock market losing 80-90% of its value in bank runs, and you don't need the money today, the two companies that I've always recommended, one was Coinbase, because again, we know Bitcoin is the future of money. I'm going to talk about that in a minute today, go over what's going on in that market as well. But in addition to that, it was Palantir stock. Palantir, which I own a lot of stock. It's one of the few stocks that I actually own. I've done videos of this years ago. I recommended the IPO. Price skyrocketed, consolidated. Now it's about to break, I think maybe even breaking new all-time highs today. It was just added as a member of the S&P 500. Again, I always get technology right. We always win in the tech space. When I tell you to buy Bitcoin under 1,000, expect it to skyrocket. When my father tells you that islandproject.com is a multi-billion-dollar asset class, believe him, because he's telling you the truth of what we've built. And so what we have coming to the United States is not just a heinous, crazy, uncertain election, which we're going through now, but I believe that they're going to dump this hot potato, and I've said this for a long time, on Trump if and when, as soon as he gets in. And they're going to blame World War III. They're going to blame hyperinflation. They're going to blame dollar collapse. They're going to blame him for the stock market crash, and he will be the perfect scapegoat for the too big to fail elites to position their bags to profit from what's coming. Again, they can't push and usher in socialism in the United States and UBI without a crisis. They're going to need a big emergency. They're going to need massive amounts of hyperinflation to pull that off, guys. They're going to need like a lockdown, like 2020. They're going to need martial law or a world war. They can't just accomplish this mission by introducing it suddenly. No, they've got to create some massive scapegoat emergency, red alert, nuke event, stock market crash, war in Israel, something like that. And then the elite and the cabal always use that to justify their tyranny, to justify what they had already pre-planned politically, to justify what they're doing. These large multinational corporations, which are now just running completely rampant as oligopolies here in the United States with zero regulation at all. There was one area of hope that I actually saw today. Governor Gavin Newsom killed the $150K free money offer to undocumented immigrants to buy a house. So I did see that bill. He basically renounced it. That's good news. Thank God that that actually happened. I guess enough people were pissed off, along with you and along with myself, that he, had to basically get rid of that because it wasn't too popular. Again, Americans are waking up to this. The signs are everywhere. I was even talking to my father about this, last night over a steak dinner, and I've said this for years. If you're not preparing an exit strategy, okay, if you don't have a plan B outside of the United States, I don't even know why you follow here at AMTV, because all signs point to Western decline and economic collapse in the West. Many of you are overestimating the Ponzi scheme here in America. Well, I'll give you an example. I hear people say this all the time. Well, Christopher, they can just print more money. They're just going to print more money into infinity. It doesn't matter that they have $35 trillion. They'll just, make $300 trillion. And none of it matters, Christopher. They're just going to keep pumping this thing. That's what they've been doing. That's been a pretty decent strategy by these people up until now. You see, the problem they're facing now is the cat's out of the bag of the hyperinflationary collapse. They can't contain rising home prices, which is why we own beach and oceanfront, like what you see behind me right now. They can't contain the cost of living crisis. They can't contain real wages dropping, and they don't even want your real wages going up. Again, the whole goal of the evil globalist cabal is to transfer you to a new system called the Great Reset, move you to a technological dystopia run by AI and robots, of which they can fire all of you in Luddite fashion because they're not going to need you, replace human beings, and then feed off your carcass, okay, like a bug or a vulture, and suck the mainframe out of you as they merge you with their machines and technology, which of course is the Neuralink chip. And are these brain chips that are wired biologically into your freaking forehead and your cerebral cortex, which Musk has admitted it's for everybody. It's going to be ubiquitous. He's planning on millions of Americans to take the mark, and he says it's going to be great because it's going to connect you guys right to the AI and, of course, conveniently to the elites and Musk's global payment system. Yeah, that's right. X is rolling out a payment system, guys. So again, I've been doing this for years. I invented alternative media television. It's very important that you take note of what's going on politically right now. Case in point, Tucker Carlson, I would argue, is more popular than Donald Trump. In fact, I'm really starting to question why Donald Trump didn't pick. I thought he would, actually. He was one of my top contenders. Tucker Carlson for VP. Why wouldn't Donald Trump pick Tucker Carlson as vice president? He's filling out entire stadiums in Arizona. This guy's a rock star. Proving the point, the people want alternative information, although I'd even argue there, look, Tucker Carlson, although I like his work and like what he's done, is mainstream media. Once mainstream media, once owned by Fox, once on the MSM, you always the MSM. It's like the CIA. It's a reason why the cabal placed mainstream media figures like Tucker Carlson to co-opt and circumvent the alternative media to pretend and then fill the vacuum that they're the alternative when they're not. Again, that's not a diss on Tucker. I like Tucker, but he's mainstream media, guys. He was owned by Fox for years. He made hundreds of millions of dollars, owned by Fox News, and then later transferred over because people, what we've done has been a lot more popular. Quite frankly, we've been kicking the crap out of all the competition. You also need to be very careful who you're tuning into. We just saw reports launched, coming out from many different sources, that independent moderates online, you know, the favorite fanboys of big socials, have actually unwittingly, unknowingly, have been funded by Russian interests and the Kremlin through shell corporations like Tenet that have been putting upwards to some of these characters like Tim Pool $400,000 a month to broadcast, and they didn't even ask any questions where the money was coming from. Didn't do any due diligence. Tim Pool, all these people didn't do any due diligence to figure out, I wonder why someone's paying me $400,000 a month to broadcast videos. Like, again, these people are talented individuals. I wish them well. But it just kind of proves the point. Whoever they're propping up, those are the sellouts. Okay, Joe Rogan took a $100 million check from Spotify, which is the definition of being a sellout. You know who's never sold out? This guy right here. We've never sold out. Never took a check from the Kremlin. He's never getting paid $400,000 a month from Tenet, like Tim Pool and Benny Johnson and Lauren Southern and others. Never signed a deal. Turned them down. Turned down Disney and the History Channel, guys, in the early days that wanted to sign yours truly, the General, to a pilot 10-episode show on TV. But TV sucks, and I wouldn't even want to do that anyways. I'm just pointing out the people that are being propped up actually are the sellouts. Again, Joe Rogan was paid $100 million so he can service the elite cabal. So they can bring puppets on his show and they can get their message out into what appears like it's alternative dialogue, when in reality, it's highly, highly controlled. Notice there's certain questions and certain topics that Joe Rogan isn't allowed to discuss. And God bless him. He took a big check, and when you're owned and bought and paid for, and someone gives you $100 million, you better play ball. And that's the reality of America, and it's the reality of capitalism. One of the reasons why, for me, I'm just speaking personally, like, I've always valued freedom above everything else, which is why I built this. Again, what we have built is so unique with no downside, which is literally the freedom and liberty movement and the digital Noah's Ark during an economic storm that has never been built before. And many of you don't understand all the great things that we're doing. Well, I want you to watch my father's video because he explains it very simply about what you get immediately, what your investment rewards you with, capital gains, cash flows, a no bank debt portfolio, peace of mind outside of the crumbling stock market and economic collapse. You're keeping up with hyperinflation. There is no bank debt, so there's essentially no downside, with 1000x freaking potential gains as we tokenize on a multi-billion-dollar blockchain. I want this to set in for a minute because a lot of you don't like volatility. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin we see selling off today. Do not sell your Bitcoin. You heard it from the general here. Do not sell your Bitcoin. Do not sell your Bitcoin. Realize that the elites are smarter than you. And that's not me coming down on the public. I'm just being honest. Like, the elites and the people in charge are much smarter than the American people. It's why they're in charge. That's why they own the underclasses. That's why they were able to lock you in your house and there was no resistance. They're smarter, right? Even people tell me Donald Trump was fooled by the deep state in 2020. He didn't know that that thing being injected into children's arms was bad. He was fooled by all of them. So my point is, the elites who plan for collapse and want the collapse, again, just like 1929, all the most powerful multi-billionaire families bought the assets on the cheap, just like you should have been doing in 2008 and 09, another inside rig job to steal all of your money and transfer all the wealth to the cabal, which is much smarter than the American people. And so I put out a tweet. You know, the elites could take Bitcoin down to 10K. They could crush it to get all those sweaty palms selling, to bleed out retail, which is exactly what they want. They don't want you owning Bitcoin. BlackRock wants every single Bitcoin, baby. That's why they securitized it on Wall Street. It's why they're selling it to you. Your scammy financial advisor who told you never to buy Bitcoin is now selling it to you at 50K with an exchange-traded fund owned by BlackRock, because they're there to manipulate and steal your bags. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they bled out Bitcoin to 10K in a single day, caused a huge panic on the backs of a nuke blast somewhere. And then, right after, this is important, in a period of several days and weeks, they send it soaring and skyrocketing to above 150K, and then 1 million to 2 million plus, which is where exactly it is going. Michael Saylor put out a tweet earlier today too. He says, don't sell your Bitcoin. Like, Michael Saylor, in my opinion, will be one of the, if not wealthiest people on the planet, and will be a Bitcoin trillionaire at some point based on what he has built with MicroStrategy and just a phenomenal portfolio of figuring out he can issue fake fiat worth nothing on the stock market and in the bond and fixed income world, and then use it to buy hyper appreciating Bitcoin, of which they're not making any more of it. So I'm expecting volatility. I'm telling you not to sell your Bitcoin. You should stick to your plan. You should be DCAing, get greedy. If you see any panic selling, like big dumps, like I'm talking fear-mongering, blow your shorts, poop your pants dumps, buy. And it's probably going to happen because, again, the elite's Ponzi scheme of this U.S. racketeering stock market is coming to an end. And there's no other place to go, and there's no other strategy for them to reset the system. Again, the idea here, folks, is to reset the system. You remember the new normal? You will own nothing and be happy. They call it a new normal for a reason, because they stole all your freedom. They stole all your liberty. Your new normal is a panopticon, deep state surveillance police cabal is what you live in now. And compliance is your slavery. Again, never complied here. We do not comply. We're building the 1776 revolution. We have created a model for 1000x gains that has never been done before in the history of the world. See our terms and disclaimers, and you should be rushing to the membership tab today at islandproject.com. You should be filling out your minimum 30 units with a quick app. Fill it out to the best of your ability. You can see membership at the tab above and become an immediate owner of the best real estate diversified in the world. As my dad explained, what does that get you? It gets you 10 to 12 properties in Maui, Oahu. Like you see what's behind me, right? Our project owns this property. You see this? This is real, guys. This is a real beachfront condo owned by islandproject.com. If you have any questions about our exclusive host of properties in Maui, Kaanapali, Kapalua, Park City, Deer Valley, we just bought a $6 million sick-ass ski lodge right on the slopes. Amazing. Call my dad, and he can provide all of those details, including fact sheets and confirmation of your legal investment with islandproject.com, soon to be tokenized. And for those of you like baby boomers out there who don't like volatility, you're scared of the stock market, or you're scared of crypto because these move, I mean, again, the price you pay for Bitcoin 1000x gains is volatility. Expect volatility. Again, Bitcoin was trading at 3,500 a couple years ago, guys, in 2020. I told you to go all in and buy it. I told you to buy Bitcoin under 1,000. Now it's trading at 50K. Proof is in the pudding. But for those of you that don't like volatility, islandproject.com is a shoo-in investment because there is no volatility. It is a guaranteed, no downside, no bank debt asset class, diversified, of the best beach and ocean front and ski lodges now, homes in the world, which, by the way, Maui was just rated the most romantic place on earth. It just built out Paris, for you lovebirds out there. Huge. And Maui, where the majority of our investments are, which is a billionaire's yacht club, and when they rebuild Lahaina, it's going to look like Newport Coast in my lifetime. It's going to continue to skyrocket because it's the new Maui Boo, and it's the new Bel Air. And in your lifetime, these properties, single properties in our portfolio, will be worth over $30 million by themselves. Our first acquisition, which is a 5-acre parcel with 3 homes, 1 we're speccing, 2 already built, I believe will be worth our entire founders portfolio just by itself in the near future. And so a lot of people are starting to understand that what we have built and what we have done is not just the future of money, it's the future of finance and ubiquity of Wall Street and the entire marketplace itself. Case in point, BlackRock, which is now buying Bitcoin, also owns a lot of real estate. What do you think they're going to do with that real estate, guys? Tokenize it. Jeff Bezos, who also lives in Maui, the billionaire's paradise, and is buying as much as he can, along with Oprah Winfrey, Peter Thiel, who funds Donald Trump, who funds Vance, who has spent millions of dollars promoting the Trump campaign, also lives in Maui. Guess what these guys are doing? Buying as much beach and oceanfront in Maui, Hawaii, Oahu, and other strategic locations that we own. And guess what they're going to do with all of this on Wall Street? Tokenize it is what they're going to do. I mean, it's so crazy to me. You know, I talk to a lot of members about this, or people will just, pepper me with questions, and like, a lot of you truly don't understand how good of a deal this is. Like, it's the equivalent, because I sold the Dutch auction of Google stock when no one wanted it. When I was at Merrill Lynch, I sold its equivalent IPO. No one wanted to buy it. They told me Google was a scam. It couldn't make any money. People told me algorithms they didn't understand it. It was, hoopla or something. Now it's taken over the entire world. IslandProject.com is the equivalent of giving you for free, for 30 units, Google stock in the early days. That's how big of a deal it is. Even my own father, who you see on camera, who came on camera today, his brain has lit up because he sees what I see. He sees what our members see. He sees, because we've already had the phone calls, and we're not selling. But private equity already wanting to buy us for hundreds of millions of dollars. Our $33.5 million brand of no bank debt assets already has offers on the table for hundreds of millions of dollars that we're turning down for our members at the moment. And that is why my dad can come on camera with confidence and tell all of you straight to your face, hard hitting it in your face, and my dad means this because he knows this as truth, that this here is a multi-billion-dollar asset class that our members own, and we're all lucky, quite frankly, myself included, to be a part of during this economic storm. Like, I don't make any qualms about it. Like, I am humbled by the Lord Jesus Christ. I don't deserve his blessings. What we have built here at the Digital Noah's Ark came from him. It didn't come from me. And my father feels the same way about it. But we have built a life raft during hyperinflation, debt collapse, dollar devaluation, economic and political uncertainty. And I don't have to tell you this, guys. Like, all you have to do is take a look at these elites' actions. And what are they? I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to look deep into his eyes. Deep into his eyes, hardcore. I want you to stare into the soul of Warren here. What is this scumbag doing right now? Selling. Selling, guys. He's selling is what he's doing. He's selling Bankrupt of America. He is selling Apple Computers, the bellwether multi-trillion-dollar company, and he's selling for a reason, and he's going to dump it on your face. When I tell you to get out, it comes from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my soul. You need to prepare for what's coming. Bank runs are coming to the United States of America. You are in World War III now. You are in a hyperinflationary collapse. You are in a wealth transfer of which BlackRock and others are going to buy your bags. These people are scumbags, ladies and gentlemen, and they don't deserve your bag. They don't deserve your freedom. They don't deserve your liberty. And people ask me, Christopher, you're fired up, baby. Why did you come back to the States? You should have just stayed in Thailand, booyah, or Bali, booyah, or Singapore, booyah, or Tokyo, booyah, where it's safe. And by the way, if you want to learn more about our Thailand and Bali investments, contact my father. I got a huge raffle going on our Thailand property, and we're in active negotiations now in Southeast Asia. Crazy, guys. Like, I got to give you a quick example. Like, we paid $6 million for our ski lodge in Park City. It's the Bel Air and Beverly Hills of the ski mountain. It's freaking incredible. Already producing cash flows. We just had another, what was it, $20,000, $30,000 in income coming, which we haven't distributed any income yet. That comes in 2025 once our portfolio has been completed. Talk to my father about this. But to give you an idea, if you stay at our property for 5 days, it'll cost you 30 grand. That's how much income is being produced at these world exclusive properties. But the point that I'm making is that $5 million in certain locations, which will just buy you like a decent place, in Thailand buys you an entire compound, guys. Did you see the freaking properties I was at overseas? Literally riding around in a helicopter with private security, chefs, caretakers, housekeepers. The list goes on and on for pennies on the dollar. There's huge upside potential overseas, and it's one of the reasons why we're strategically investing out of the States, because you must have at least 1 foot out the door in a plan B scenario. Like, again, if they've opened our borders up and they're not going to deport, if they're going to continue to allow infiltration into the States, if they're going to continue to create hyperinflation, you've got to go find other opportunities. It doesn't mean America's not great. It doesn't mean that the general isn't leading the charge to fight the revolution on your behalf. 1776, you are all the resistance. But it means you've got to be smarter than these people, and you have to understand where all this is going. Just like no one wanted to buy Bitcoin when I told them to buy it under 1,000. So personally, I'm very worried. And my father, doesn't speak often. There's a reason why he put an emergency message out. I'll just show you the video real quick. You need to watch it. You need to watch it. My dad's just a common sense guy. He's very common sense. He's direct. He's not hyperbolic. Again, just listen to what my dad has to say in this emergency message video up at the top. It shows him, we were out on our private yacht. That was in Thailand, exploring all the islands. Absolutely amazing. So you can kind of see him right there. It says breaking or emergency. Go watch the video and then allow us to help you. Text or call at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. You can only fund the investment through islandproject.com and or Dealmaker, which is our portal and our only official website. Let him help you guys. Okay, my dad will be the first to tell you after a conversation if he doesn't think the investment's right for you. And that's cool if it's not. But you need to call him now. Let my father, who's the best mentor in the world, best money manager in the world I know, best investor in real estate specifically, which is why I put him in charge of our portfolio allocation along with myself, because I trust my father. See, my team isn't getting paid by Russia, guys. Benny Johnson and Tim Pool are getting paid by Tenet and Russia and the Kremlin. God bless them. They probably didn't know, but I'm pointing out we're the real America, baby. We are the self-funded billionaire Christian class ballers is what we are. And you need to talk to my father because he can help. And as a steward and as a fiduciary to all of you tuning in, that's our number one goal. Our number one mission is to save you from what's coming, to help you get ready, and to help you profit in a world-class investment during an economic nightmare and a storm, and to build a life raft and posture all of you for 1000x tokenization in the future on our world-class blockchain. And to give you some lifestyle enhancement, give you some joy and beauty. Come stay at our properties, come stay in Maui, come stay in Park City, join our network, and use the network for your own benefit. A lot of people miss this point, but you have direct access to me and my father as an investor. You come in with 150K today, you got direct access with the general and my dad. That's a big deal. Honestly, if I were you, I'd pay for that just for the access, not even the investment. I would pay for consult, quite literally, 30K. Here's 30K. Tell me what's going on, Papa John. Help me out. Here's my allocation. I got a 401K here. I got stocks here. What should I do? I'd pay my dad 30K and half to do that. Just to have, he's my dad, but just to have my dad be like, this is what you need to do. I've seen everything under the sun. My dad is 69 years old. God bless him. He's been around. He's the best entrepreneur I've ever met. He's an amazing money manager. Sold his business in his 40s. It was later bought by Heinz. My dad was worth more money than you could imagine when he was in his early 40s. That's how young he was. My dad is a savant. Many of you think I'm crazy, and Chris, I'm a savant. I'm a savant in crypto and tech and entrepreneurship. I'm a savant in these crazy areas that are obscure. My dad is the real estate baller. Go chat with him. I know his phone was blowing up earlier this morning because crypto was crashing and people are like, oh man, I don't like this volatility. Yeah, get an Island Project. Like if you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, take half and put it in an Island Project. If you have $250,000 in a Roth IRA in stocks exposed to an 80% collapse, take 50, 60% and roll it over an Island Project. It's just called diversification, guys. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. There are some tax benefits. We are not CPAs, so I can't give you tax or CPA advice, but we can certainly, help you make the best decision for you and your family in this legacy asset and in this legacy investment that makes up islandproject.com. Shock and awe. I'm expecting shock events in the coming days, weeks, and months. You have 59 days before the U.S. election. I don't think it matters who gets in. I'm praying for Trump. Don't think it matters. Don't think it matters, guys. Don't think it matters. So again, the way to make money, get ahead, protect your hard-earned assets, grow them, and posture for the big gains is doing what I'm telling you now, is listening to my father's emergency message, listening to what I'm telling you, and going all in. Read our disclaimers and terms. I'm not a financial advisor. Again, financial advisors told you not to buy Bitcoin. They're stupid. I'm just a guy on the internet who's rich, who bought Bitcoin under 1,000, grew this to a soon-to-be multi-billion-dollar tokenization like my father has told straight to your face, that owns $33.5 million of beach and oceanfront homes like the one here right behind me right now. Like, again, guys, like, my dad opened his video, he's like, for those of you that want to know, is this too good to be true? Is this a dream? And am I investing in something real? My dad's like, yeah. I can confirm it. For all the property details, every single property that you own as a member, contact my father. Later this year, we'll have a complete portfolio of all the appraised value of every single property. I'm going to put this out in a newsletter that's private. I might even do a hard copy of it, which is basically our year end. So it shows the host of properties that we own, 5 million valuation here, 8 million valuation here, 3 million valuation here, 2.5 million valuation here, 10 million valuation here. And then it shows active acquisitions like Thailand, Bali, the international diversification. All of this is completed, closing into 24-25, and then is being tokenized. Shock events. Shock events. Even the right, like the neocons, like Dick Cheney is voting for Harris, dude. It's just disgusting. Like, your politicians are absolutely traitors to this U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And I hate to keep telling you guys, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. It's going to get much worse, guys. The stock market just suffered its worst loss since 2022. And the lockdowns, it's going to get worse. Okay, they've got monkey pimples now spreading around the world. They might have to shut things down again. These people are extremely evil, and you must fight back. And the gravity of the point that I'm making today is we've built it already. It has already been physically built. Why do you think we work our butts off so hard? Why do you think I've told you about Island Project every single day over the last 2 years? And now we got a $33.5 million portfolio that's going to be tokenized because it's that important. And we've already laid the foundation and understand where this is going and how the elites are going to reset the currency, the dollar, how they're going to continue to hyperinflate, how they're going to move Americans into UBI, how they're going to use fear and uncertainty to grab your Bitcoin bags, buy all the best real estate, and then create a rental-based society of which they transition you to socialism and universal basic income, because it's always been the plan, and we know the plan. And we're around those circles, guys, and these people speak freely. They laugh in your face about what they're doing to you right now. So you think, all these events happen at random? They don't. Lockdowns 2020 wasn't an accident. These people laugh in your face. I remember sitting out in my lanai in Maui in my $5 million mansion, listening to Maroon 5 during the heart of the lockdowns at a billionaire's house. No one wearing face masks. This is during the height of the panic and pandemonium. This is when the toilet paper runs were going, guys, and everybody had these strapped to their faces. And I'm sitting there smoking a cigar with Maroon 5 right in front of me at a billionaire's party, which I'm not going to say his name, in Maui, over in Wailea, right on the beach. And I'm just thinking to myself, these scumbags, these freaking criminals. And so I always tell you in advance, and go look up who lives in Maui, the most powerful people in the world. How do you think I know this information, guys? Because I relay it to you and I tell you what's going to happen. I position you to make a ton of money and 1,000 freaking X, because the general knows. And we're the freaking white hats, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we've never sold out. We don't run any commercials. I'm not owned by Spotify or Tenet like Tim Pool and others. We're the self-funded Bitcoin Island Project Christian billionaire ballers. And Papa John is a stud, and he's here to help all of you at 808-442-2934. You must get out of the U.S. stock market now while you still can. The urgency has never been greater. Do not panic when Black Monday comes. Do not panic when the 1929 scare hits, or the 1987 aberration goes live, or what we saw in Japan with the carry trade, which is an early canary in the coal mine, went awry and dumped 10% overnight, and the future markets implode in the United States. Don't be panicking in that moment. Have peace of mind. Get ahead of it. Talk to my father today over this glorious weekend and take in the view of one of the properties owned by our members right here. There were some bullhorns that went off earlier because there's world-class surfing right back here. You got the famous Duke statue right over here. This is the best location in Waikiki. Best weather. And I must say, even after traveling internationally, we still have the best beaches, best sand, best ocean, and best surf in the world. And all my members own it. They own 10 to 12 properties of the best real estate in the world for a reason, because we've already built it with no bank debt, and our entire portfolio has been soaring the last 2 years. A lot of you told me it wouldn't. A lot of you told me, no, real estate's going to correct. Nope, up only, guys. All of our places in Maui and Oahu, up, up, up. I paid $5.95 million for our Park City Ski Lodge. It's already being appraised at like 6.2. You know how many months it's been since we've closed? 2. Up, up, up. Hyperinflation. You will own nothing and be happy. BlackRock's buying all the real estate. We are the anti-BlackRock. We are the anti-hedge funds. I am your general here at islandproject.com, the digital Noah's Ark. I order you to click the link below and contact Papa John today at 808-442-2934. Do it now while you still can. I love you. Have an amazing day out there. Jesus Christ, of course, is Lord, and I only kneel and serve him, and we never comply, and we're not bought and paid for, and we've never sold out. What we do is grant liberty and freedom to all of you tuning in. islandproject.com. That's islandproject.com, a multi-billion-dollar brand. God bless.